Gigantic and absurd cube-filled arena are going to be starting off Gamers8 for Rocket League.
Well, here we go. The cubes have fallen, and now it is time to see how the dice fall between these two teams. Ixo's going to take an early touch. Of course, we start with the 3v3. Oxygen will be favourites here. Europe, I would say, the most strong region in the world right now. And
I don't think you're going to face any adversaries in that.
I've seen Twitch chat. Anything you say can have adversaries.
Twitch chat wouldn't disagree with us saying that Europe's the best region in the world right now.
Somebody will, I guarantee it.
Nah.
But Oxygen are trying to prove it right now against Ground Zero. Ground Zero, this is their best opportunity for me. I feel like any skill discrepancy will be lessened in 3v3 compared to 2s and 1s. And when Ixo's about to get a flip reset, there still is one, but it's defended well by Ground Zero.
We're talking about Oxygen as well. They've got the 2s and then the 1s relatively on lock here. It's going to be one that they're going to be most confident in. But 3s, I think they can be a little bit more questionable personally. I feel when you look at 3s, you see upsets happening a little bit more often. Otherwise, it's the raw skill of a 2s or a 1s that's going to carry a team through. Joria's almost with a beautiful double tap into the corner. And when the first minute elapsed, neither team taking blood from the other.
Yeah, so far Ground Zero spreading out well, defending diligently, not seeming overawed at all. By Oxygen, a $2 million prize pool in this tournament, a massive chunk of money. There's a nice little bonus to the end of the season and all the achievements that these teams and every team that's here has had as well. As Joris clears it long, Fiber's meeting it, and Ground Zero, they're starting to find their way into this first game. You feel that if they are to take this series, cause the upset, and book themselves the matchup in the upper bracket semi-finals against Team Vitality, winning this opening game would be massive for the team in green.
And Ground Zero Gaming, I have been relatively impressed with Fiber in particular. I'm out of this team. Lockie has had a few questionable moments. There have been those moments where we've thought, mate, what exactly are you doing? What exactly is the plan? Unfortunately, though, we're going to be seeing the Ground Zero unable to be getting a goal, and now they're going to be completely on the defense for a little while. Oxygen pushing further, Lockie sending it high, not really to anywhere. Joris burning a lot of boost. What reset? That's on target, but Kaka sends it over towards that left-hand side again. Archie up high, not quite to the ceiling, instead just about kisses it, taps it down. Joris is in early, Ixo can shoot. Fiber again, just above the goal.
Good chances now, though. Eventually the ball does fall for Ixo. He ain't going to miss that one, and it's 1-0 Oxygen.
Halfway through the game as well, and it was Kaka being outsped by Joris. All he had to do there, get the pass, and his goal's going to be open for a lurking Ixo. Good chance from him, and Oxygen up nice and early with just that one goal. Ground Zero goal. As I said, I've had some issues with them. I've had issues with OCE teams this year in general.
So CJ, with his video he made telling them off.
Yeah, the inconsistencies that we have seen across the board from OCE, I think, have plagued them this year more than any. But Viper,
shoot, lads!
Just proves it again. Has to go wide of Joria's, but he sends him too far wide.
OCE do so much good work, and then they finally get the opportunity to put the ball in the back of the net, and we've seen it time after time in events, even in OCE regionals. Cannot put the thing in the back of the net. Hopefully that'll be the only time we see that in this tournament. Ixo is going to get past one, he's going to get over the other. He already threatened earlier. This time he finishes the job.
Really nice play there as well. Ixo taking his time, lures him one from the backboard. Also, you see Fiber, he tries to challenge. Locking has to go to the ground. It's top corner though, you can't do too much about it. 95 kilometers per hour. Oxygen, they find themselves with 2.
The stadium lights up as well. The lighting beautiful here in Riyadh. Gamers8. Very special production as Archie goes up against his Ground Zero opponent. Ixo's already pre-jumping. He's looking like the hottest player in the pitch right now. His car is faster than everybody else's, getting assists, getting bumps, getting demos, getting his hat-trick too. Ixo on top.
Yeah, bumped into that one just slightly, but it was going to be getting the backflip shot. Anyway, Archie with a lovely assist. Again, just taps it round. Kaka gets one block. Lockie bumps Ixo into it and goes, all right, mate, don't waste any time. You get in the goal. We all know it. I'm just going to punt you straight in.
3-0 for Oxygen, making light work of Ground Zero right now. A team who, better teams than Oxygen, have failed to make light work of. It was mentioned in the pre-show in the Boston Spring Major, where Ground Zero went 2-0 up against Carmine Corp in games. Had to be reverse sweat, and credit to Carmine Corp, they did what had to be done, but just a sign that Ground Zero are capable of taking games. And in this format, you know, there's not a lot of time to warm up in each game mode. You have to be able to hit the ground running and be hot as anything as you get started. So far, Oxygen being exactly that, and it's something that we haven't seen from Oxygen in a long time. You know, maybe their switch in format is exactly what they need.
I mean, they were the favourite, or one of the favourite teams going into the fall major all the way back in December last year. Of course, that was a little while ago, but it's the exact same roster, near enough. Obviously, Ixa now in for Rise, but they are still one of the strongest rosters here.
Oli in full. It was Oli back then.
Yeah,
I know.
Of course
they've had
it was,
three different rosters, Oxygen. They're constantly changing.
You're right.
That's why, because it was the two Dutch players in Rotterdam. They were favoured by the crowd. Couldn't quite see it away then.
That was it.
Destroyed Gen G on the route. We're like, wow, Oxygen.
Wowee.
And they brought in Rise. Can't blame them for that. And then Rise left for BDS, and Ixo's here. Ixo's had a job to do to steady the ship, I would say. And this is looking like a pretty steady ship. Not too worried about Ground Zero's choppy waters as they're 34 seconds away from taking game one.
I mean, getting a hat-trick is a decent way to make sure that you are steadying said ship as well. But it's good pressure coming in from Ground Zero now as we reach the final 30 seconds. A good tap down.
What up?
Karkaya, he manages to get the pass off. Not quite the shot that he wanted, but Fiber, again, there to poach from lurking.
Glorious angle from Kaka there as well. Archie couldn't do anything with it. Fiber was arriving. He wasn't going to miss that one. 24 seconds left. This is where the kickoff strats become all important. We'll hear all about kickoffs in ones and twos, but they matter in threes as well. Fiber pushes it to the side. Joris should be able to sweep up, and he gets it as far as he can. Can't quite get the bump either, and instead they're going to concede from it. That's the wrong net as far as the Aussies are concerned. It's 4-1.
It's passed down from Jorius too. Lockie just has to get something from it. Gets bumped away from the ball. Maybe should have just sent it long, but the control's not too bad of a shout. Oxygen, game one win is going to be going in their favour. And Cole, I'm brand new to Gamers8. Surely we've got another 3v3 coming up in game number 2.
It's funny you say that, Stumpy, because you are wrong and foolish.
How
Instead,
dare.
what's going to happen is because Ground Zero have lost game one, suddenly the onus goes towards them. They are able to decide whether they want to play 2v2 or 1v1 in game number 2, and they will now talk amongst themselves to make that decision as we head to the second map.
So you're telling me that this is, would you describe it as a crew battles format with a mix of 3v3, 2v2 and 1v1 across the course of a few days?
My friend, I would unironically call it a battle of the crews for sure. That's exactly what it is, Stumpy Goblin.
So, we are now going to be looking towards
look at that.
Ground Zero roster and seeing, are we going to be getting 2v2 or are we going to be getting that 1v1? And whichever one they don't pick, Cole, I'm just going to guess here, I assume that in game number 4, if it does go that far, that then they'll be using the other game mode that wasn't picked for game number 2.
Once again, my Stumpy Goblin friend, you are learning incredibly quickly. Yes, the game 4 will be a swap of what we see in game 2. So either 2v2 if we see ones, or 1v1 if we see twos. But let's get there when we get there. Let's hope, for Ground Zero's sake, that we will get there and they're not 3-0'd at the start of things. I think it's got to be 2v2 for right now. No natural 1v1ers in the Ground Zero roster.
And tell you what, if you're looking at, I mean, either of these game modes, Ixo's going to be a shout for one of them. I think Jorius is the man to be on lock. Yeah, Jorius will be the man to be on lock for the 1v1. I think you've just got to get him in. Even if he's not at the top of his game, he is still in the one of the highest percentiles in the world in 1v1. But Ixo, if you're looking at the 2v2, get him in for that, I reckon. Like, the quality that he was showing, he was being passed to it like he was making chances of his own. He got that reset top corner, and that is going to be happening. Oxygen will be sending Ixo and Archie in for the 2v2 against Fiber and Kaka here on Forbidden Temple.
Well, here we go then. The first 2v2 of Gamers8 2023 will be a slower match compared to the 3v3 for any new 2v2 viewers. Much more feeling each other out, but more opportunity for mechanics like this one. Fiber showing that he's got those reads, and it was Kaka who got the double tap in game number 1, so he'll be feeling comfortable with the setup, with the situation. It's saved by Ixo, who remains high-performing. Jorius sitting out as well, allowing room for Archie and Ixo.
Something as well that we were talking about last year, I reckon, or that I remember rather, is that we saw the player who wasn't playing, that every now and then they just bring a little bit of info. They try and coach a little bit. They're not going to try and backseat game. They're not going to be the little brother with the Mad Catz controller thinking, no, I can do it better. But they'll be saying, okay, they're sitting a lot of boost, keep an eye on that.
Well, I seem to remember it's different per team as well. So in the 1v1s for Vulcans, for example, they'd all crowd round, I believe, whereas Furia, they'd leave Yan to it. It definitely depends on those team dynamics, but Ixo is looking dynamic. He scores his 5th goal of this series.
And the only player to score a goal so far as well. Over on the side of Oxygen, that was a lovely pass across from Archie, getting that pinch from the corner, the double tap. And Oxygen with Exo sitting central. And I like to see Jory's having a sip, looking about. He's not involved in this one just yet.
He can just have fun and watch out Forbidden Temple, enjoy the scenes of hopefully his team adorned in orange, taking down Ground Zero for a second game in a row. Archie's busting out the flip resets off the back wall. And now Ixo's coming in as well. I expect that we'll see this ball camped pretty fully on the green side of the pitch, as we're seeing Archie's gonna do the smart shot, and Kaka can't make that save.
6th goal so far for Oxygen, and the first from a player that is not named Ixo. Lovely pass from Archie, just has to send it towards the left-hand side. Kaka, he's going for the in-and-out save. It's a good idea with that high-up shot. Unfortunately for him, Archie has the wherewithal to send it away from him.
2-0, and game 2 looking very similar to the way game 1 looked as well. It's pretty comfortable right now for Oxygen. I would say disappointingly comfortable, actually, as far as Ground Zero are concerned. We have seen this team perform. You know, we haven't seen too many wins from OCE teams this season, but better than this. They're not coming to tournaments to lose 4-0, 5-0 every game, and right now it's looking like that's what they are. So hopefully Ground Zero are going to be able to step up. Get some time on the ball, lads, you know. Become accustomed to this setup, because it's always different everywhere you go. Ixo can't quite get the flip reset. Kaka pushes it to the side.
You're talking about those high-scoring games as well. 2v2 can fall somewhat susceptible to it being like a 5-3 or something like that, which you much rarely get in those 3v3 matchups. So, Ground Zero, if they can be holding it to just the 2 right now, then they've got a decent chance to work it back. There's different score lines that feel insurmountable in the different game modes. So 3v3, you're looking at around 4 goals is relatively insurmountable.
I'd say 5 is GG's. Even 4,
5 is easy
there's
GG's.
A chance, yeah.
Like, but in the RLCS, if you score 4, you win like 99.5% of the time or something silly like that. In 2v2, you're looking more towards 5, 6 goals. Even then, obviously, very, very hard. Oh, in 1v1, it can be as much as like 8 goals, and you're still thinking, okay, as long as there's enough time, I have a chance here to come back.
I mean, if there's an 8-goal comeback, Stumpy, I will eat my hat. We'll see if that one happens.
I'm going to at Johnny Boy, and I'm going to buy a hat, and I'm going to make sure that you consume it.
Well, let's see. Here's Kaka, fiber to the side, trying to go for another shot. They've had their opportunities, Ground Zero. Just not quite able to get it into the back of the net yet again. Ixo is causing all sorts of damage, but Kaka's learned. Can he hover in the air and dodge Archie? Yes, he can. Ixo's getting involved yet again. This pinch could go against Oxygen, making sure that the ball stays in green territory.
You see the immediate panic from Fiber. He knows that he's just seen Ixo come up behind him. Doesn't want to get bumped, doesn't want to give away that easy goal. That's it now. Chances here on the back as Kaka goes high, challenged again by Ixo. Fiber taps it down. But with 90 seconds remaining, Ground Zero, lads, you need to get something very soon. And with Ixo up for that double, it's going to be in. It's the 3rd for Oxygen.
Ixo, such a wonderful player, and he's had a career that's been slow to start. You know, for years he was sort of peaking at the Gfinity Elite Series. Now 21 years old, ancient in RLCS terms. Finally, this fine wine has aged perfectly. And we're seeing him now on stages like this one, performing the way we know that he can perform. And sadly, Ground Zero, they're not performing, bumping each other, tripping over each other's tails. They're 3-0 down yet again, another 3-goal difference.
Time for Ixo here to go for a sidewall redirect. Can't quite sneak it in. Now Kaka goes up with the ball, 60 boost with Archie behind him. He goes for 1, the bump, it's on target, but he gets demoed out of the way. Oxygen, they keep this a 3-0 game so far.
Ixo, can he get the pinch? He wants to. It's bouncing in, is it? No, Kaka spawned well. And actually on the counter, if Kaka can get round here, he wave dashes to get himself some boost. Still not going to be enough. And Ixo somehow from the pre-jump has got in his way. I mean, Oxygen, they're sort of toying with their food at the moment, making it look pretty simple. But it's mainly because of the skill of this man right now. Ixo is the difference maker.
He's on fire at the moment. In the final 35 seconds, as this ticks down, it's going to be Ground Zero, not just trying to see if they can get a page out of Oxygen's book, but trying to photocopy the entire thing and then cram it into their minds before game number 3 begins.
Yeah, going to have to wheel some office equipment into the arena at this rate if they are going to manage to print out anything. I don't know. It's difficult.
You try to continue the metaphor, and I do respect it.
I'm just not Jorby, all right? I'm more of a one-and-done kind of guy.
I'm painfully aware of that.
Here is Archie. He goes off the sidewall to the ceiling. Go on, time for one more banger. Ixo's saying, do you want me to get involved, mate? Archie's like, no, lad, it's all right, just leave it. It's fine, he's a Yorkshire boy. Anyway.
That wasn't an Yorkshire accent. An Yorkshire accent, I just said. That wasn't an Yorkshire accent, nor was it a Yorkshire accent. 3-0 for Oxygen, game number 2.
3-1.
In a little bit of a stomping of a 2v2 as well. Now we go into game number 3. we're going to be seeing the 3v3 returning. And Oxygen, they just look unbeatable against a team such as Ground Zero.
Yeah, we will welcome back the players that didn't play in that last game. It'll be good to see him back. Joria's waiting from the sidelines. He was sipping like a legend, a super lucky as well. Must be desperate to come in. When you're a competitor like this, I imagine that watching is the most difficult thing. I hear it time and time again from, you know, high-level people in sports and esports and, you know, even what we do, casting, you know. Doing it is fine. You're in the moment. Everything's okay.
It's up to you as well.
And it's up to you. You can control it. But it's when you're sat there watching, that's when the nerves hit, because everything is 10 times scarier.
Tell you what, though, I've played in certain competitions where I have been drafted, and then I have been told, we're going to field you as little as possible.
Being picked last does not count as quote-unquote being drafted, my friend.
I was picked before last. Penultimate is not last.
True.
I was told by Fairy Peak of all people,
yep.
Stumpy, we're going to use you as little as possible. And I said, thank you very much. I was completely okay with that. Now, I might not be a high-level competitor.
I did not know Fairy Peak was Swedish.
Yep, he's relocated, has to get on a team somehow. And I was very happy to not be part of a team, and I was happy to sit on the sideline and just be like, c'est la vie, what will be, what will be.
Some would argue that you are not Joria's, and maybe I'm harsh in saying that, as Joria's the man himself goes to the kickoff, and then Archie misses.
I was in a lift with him earlier, so some of it might have rubbed off on me.
Okay, well, here he is right now. Did about as well as Stumpy would have in that pinch, didn't get it anywhere. In fact, almost conceded a goal from it, so maybe it's more the other way around, and Stumpy's rubbing off negatively. Here's Ixu. Right. Over the top, flicks past one, but Kaka's there. Ground Zero, time to step up, lads. You can do this, you can get this done. I do not want to see the first match of Gamers8 being a sweep. We want a game, and we want to see the 1v1.
I want to see Joria's play 1v1. And I don't want to say show off really what he can do against a player that might not be quite at his level, but I want to see what Joria's can do and show off what he can do against a player who's not quite at his level.
Here comes Archie, he's rolling it in, it's 1-0 Oxygen. He's already wheeling off to celebrate, fist bumps all round. Oxygen take the lead.
Naughty little tap in as well, just a nice standard challenge there for Archie. Devon in the back line opens it up completely. And we see Oxygen in just 43 seconds take yet another lead.
I really think that we shouldn't understate actually how well Oxygen are playing.
Very well.
Of course, there is a skill gap here, but as I mentioned earlier, Ground Zero have been taking games, have been taking the occasional series in online competition as well. So by no means a gimme team. This is a team that is able to, I'll say it, do some damage against top teams. And right now, Oxygen are completely suppressing everything Ground Zero do so well. A team that made the World Championships as well. Although they didn't do that. They lost to Power too. So this is their first event back. Been waiting for this
since the Spring Major in Boston. About 2 months ago. We've had 2 gigantic competitions since then.
There's a lot of it at the moment.
It's been really quite busy for us.
It has.
We've been everywhere. It's been great. Minute and a half and Oxygen with the lead. They're going to be thinking that they're having a great time as well. Now on that right-hand side, Fiber sends it towards the middle. No chance for Karka to get another touch in. A good chance for a pass back. Fiber then finds Karka again, but Joria's charged him down. Super Lockie now.
Well
against
done.
one, fakes it low. Archie's now ready. But Lockie just takes time a little bit too much. That bounce is high. It's nice. It's a shot, but Joria's clearing away. And Oxygen, even when they're being pressed, do hold Ground Zero to 0.
Fiber's going to try and get this ball, or at least the boost. I think he got that, but Archie's pinch. Humongous. Super Lucky meets Archie as well. Archie, who seems completely up for this one. As Fiber gets the speed flip, but it's going to be Joria's meeting it. The passing touches are there. The tiki-taka not quite good enough to get past Ground Zero, who, it must be said, have stepped up in Game 3. And then Fiber gets the equalizer.
Beautiful shot as well from Fiber. Enough power on it from the sidewall. Goes up, sets him, beats out Ixo, dunks on Ixo. Center of the net. Oxygen were not ready for it. That is the most convincing chance we've seen from Ground Zero. Will they be able to grab the ball by the horns and take this third game?
Joria's going to try and make sure that doesn't happen. There was Fiber. Super Lucky has a chance, I thought, for a second. Archie was sneakily in there, and now he couldn't quite get the ball down in time. Oxygen, for the first time, having questions asked of them. What are the answers? Fiber gets the flip reset towards Super Lucky, who turns it down. Joria's chases the ball. Gets it towards Archie. In the center, there's all sorts of bumps going on as well. Archie up against Super Lucky, but he gets it back out to Kaka. Now Ground Zero move the ball forwards again. It's to the backboard. Who's arriving? There's a miss from Oxygen. but nobody else was arriving.
Seems to be a difference right now between Oxygen and Ground Zero on those chances where somebody misses it on the backboard. Oxygen have always got a player there, it feels like. Whereas Ground Zero, they're more, okay, we're going to play safe. We're just not going to concede another one. They've not got the ambition to push up that little bit further and take those chances.
Yeah, superior recoveries right now, I'd say, from Oxygen compared to Ground Zero. Very rarely able to be countered, Oxygen, because they have those couple of players back. Ground Zero having to beat down this door and try and walk their way through. Oxygen very rarely letting them. And now they're starting to take the opportunities again. The ball is back in green territory. Jorius gets it over the top of one, has his flip still, I think he does. He dodges Kaka, but Super Lucky comes away with the ball.
Lovely touch from Super Lucky as well. Can beat out one, beats out two. No final touch. Jorius is off the post. Ixo punts Jorius down the pitch as well. Little sidewall redirect attempt from him. Lockie had a great chance there, but no goal can come from it. But here he is again.
Could have another one. Ixo charged him down quickly. Oxygen going to start looking to him, the Englishman, the old man of the team. But it's his opponents that are doing better right now, the Aussies. Archie's flicking it away. Actually, he's not getting the flick at all. But his teammate comes in. Fiber almost own goals it. Kaka collides with Fiber. The ball pops up. Now it's Kaka and Super Lucky in it together yet again. Ground Zero have to work on these rotations. Stop getting in each other's way. But that was a return to form.
A lovely, ambitious pre-jump from Fiber, and he manages to keep the pressure on. Jorius past that halfway line, gets a reset with 7 boosts. He's being an absolute menace so far. Hands it off to Ixo. Ixo's up higher. Archie waits. Archie's there to receive. That's on target, but Kaka is going to be finding himself in between the ball and the goal. 30 seconds remaining, equal in game number 3. This is still Ground Zero's best chance.
Ground Zero looking more like the version of themselves that we've seen in majors throughout the season. His Super Lucky, he shoots it, saved almost off the post. Ground Zero take their first lead of the series.
And what a team up it is. Kaka with a reset finds Lucky, who is already up, crossbar down, helped on by Jorius. The Ground Zero lead for the first time in this series. Oxygen, they are in trouble.
Fake kickoff. We saw a kickoff goal in game 1 for Oxygen. Can they get another one? Now they need it. There's the demo, but Super Lucky stood tall. Kaka up against Archie. Archie with a couple of taps. Ixo's waiting underneath. He's desperate for it. Been in such good form, but Fiber gets rid of it. Kaka could sink them here, and he does. It will be 2-1 in the series.
It's casual on the cams, but it is a party on the pitch. 7 seconds remain, and Ground Zero get their third, a 2-goal lead. We are going to be seeing that 1v1.
1v1? You up for a 1v1?
I'm up for a 1v1. Chat, out of interest, type 1 if you're up for a 1v1.
I might log in just so I can type 1, because Stumpy, I am so up for a 1v1. I love them.
On land.
On a LAN, exactly. To many, the superior game mode. People have been desperate for this, to have this sort of platform. Gamers8 have brought it to us. But let's move away. Let's zoom out a little bit away from the macro into the micro, and let's talk about Ground Zero, because that, Stumpy, was just such an improved performance from these three, and they have well and truly earned these smiles. Lots of ones coming in, by the way.
Lots of ones. The biggest issue that I've had with OCE this entire season so far is either a lack of ambition on a lot of plays, where, as we saw in that game, they'd go for a pass, then no one's there. They're not taking that risk. And then we saw Fiber up for like 3 pre-jumps. It keeps pressure on. That dunk is nasty. And making sure that they are able to be that team that pushes hard. They're not just thinking, okay, we can take a series off one of our countrymen. We can just get one versus OCE. No, you can get a game off anybody else. Lockie is looking much more locked in as well. And Kaka, he had the speed to lock in that final goal too. Ground Zero in that 3v3 looked like an utterly different team to the one that we saw competing in our first 3v3 and then the 2v2. And now, Cole, everyone wanted it. We wanted it. It's a 1v1 in our first series here on Gamers8 2023.
We are about to see some goals. For anybody watching this who is new to this game mode, expect to see these players showcase what they are capable of mechanically. But more than that, it's a game of thinking. Is 1v1. You will see a player speed away and maybe take a 2 or 3 goal lead, and the opponent completely change up the way they approach the game. For now, it's Jorius going for, should be a flip reset, may well be 1-0, but Super Lucky defending deeply. Is that his best tactic at winning this game against Jorius?
I mean, realistically, you look at the theoretical skill difference between these two in 1v1. But there can be a blueprint to beat a player like Jorius. You can take it to him and make sure that you aren't playing scared, or you can then play for the counterattacks and make sure that you keep that boost away from him when he tries to starve you. So much easier said than done, especially when that kind of quality is going to be coming up against you over and over again.
Jorius refusing the fist bump as well from Snazky. I don't know if you saw that one. After Jorius scored, Snazky gave him, you know, the little traditional coach like tap on the arm. Jorius just shook his head. He wants to stay locked in as possible. He does not want his team crowding around, and the man wants to be the only player in existence right now, apart from his opponent. And that is the mantra of the 1v1er.
It's also complete high pressure for any of the players who play in the 1v1s throughout this entire festival of gaming. They have got their entire team watching them, and all the fans, it is completely on them. A lovely low pitch from Jorius to make it 2. And he is used to this pressure. He has played show matches up and down the land. He has made sure that whenever he is competing, he is locked in, as we saw a moment ago.
I love the fact that Jorius is taking nothing for granted, though. He is the favoured 1v1er here, in a big way. No disrespect to Super Lucky, but Jorius, compared to...
I think you have
to...
He literally is, yeah.
Compared to the vast majority of 1v1ers here, Jorius would be a huge favourite, right? But Jorius showing no signs of taking him for granted. Now he has to do some defending. Super Lucky fakes him out. For all I'm saying, Super Lucky is still dangerous.
And that is what you need to do against Jorius. He will have plays that he thinks that someone's going to go for in his head. He's going to think, Lucky wouldn't fake here. He's going to try and read the theoretical, maybe not best move. The best move there for Lucky is to fake it, is to go low. And that is the first one for Ground Zero, and by extension, Lucky in this 1v1.
Jorius competing to win this matchup by 3 games to 1. Super Lucky trying to keep his team in it and force it aside. But Jorius has got the mechanics, the musty flick, quite enough to break through the defending. Super Lucky did well yet again. He's picked up some boost too. Jorius will do the same. The full court carry maybe.
Oh,
he's been watching Zen with that ceiling pinch.
We love that.
Instead, Super Lucky manages to get some control. Jorius in a slightly awkward position, I feel. He comes in for the attack, gets it cleanly, and should be able to make it 3-1.
This is the issue in ones too. You take those chances and you take those opportunities where you think, okay, I can get the reset here. And you have to go for them. You have to go for resets and such. But if your opponent gets a good touch and they can manage to get control, you give up a goal. It's the ultimate risk versus reward play.
3-1, and I think that Jorius will be relatively satisfied with how this game has gone.
Now we see the Super Lucky there. He just shakes it out a little bit, thinks, get myself back into it. He let his head fall back down, I think, and sort of be like, oh, gosh, okay, I'm playing against Jorius. But it's like, no, come on, get yourself back into it. And I wonder how much of our teams are going to be looking at their teammates.
Oh.
That is a horrible bounce for Lucky, unfortunately for him. But he gets a great catch, one flick, a little bit too much mustard on it. Ooh. The back flip does go bottom corner. Brings it back to just the 1 goal deficit.
Well played from Super Lucky. That bounce was probably the last one he possibly would have wanted, but he kept his composure, mixed up his game, and then of course had the mechanics to get that reverse into the ball to keep himself within 1 goal, doing a tremendous job of keeping this one close. Jorius has got plenty more gas in the tank, of course, but that's almost a clean kickoff win for Super Lucky. Instead, Jorius gets into the back corner, wastes a few more seconds, gets it round, wants to keep close control of this ball and beat Super Lucky for pace. Where is Super Lucky? There he is, heading up now. But Super Lucky doing a good job of just leaving Jorius to it on occasion.
Doing a remarkable job of keeping this game close as well. Flicks it high, forces Jorius to use boost. He wanted to go for that back corner then, but with only 3, he has to now keep this close, otherwise a goal is going to be imminent. Jorius also has 0, picks at the 100. Will go high. Lucky into the corner with 1 reset for Jorius, though. It's just a matter of time before he sinks it. That is a beauty of a shot.
Jorius is up. He saw that Super Lucky was there. He was like, when is Super Lucky gonna go? Do you know what? It doesn't matter. Via the crossbar, via anything, I'll be able to get that ball in the net. And mechanically seems to be the main difference from Jorius. Super Lucky is playing the game of 1v1 well, as Jorius decides to ignore this kickoff, get some boost instead. The challenge game is won by Jorius that time, and he gets ball as well. Super Lucky, can he get the save he can off the back wall? And he can chase it as well. So more clean defending from Super Lucky, but Jorius, just when he has control, a matter of time perhaps.
And clean because of his recoveries. 1v1 is such a recovery-heavy game. You can have all the best shots you want in the world, but if you're not recovering after them and your opponent saves it, congratulations, you've just conceded. You need to make sure that you're able to get back to that ball, or even just be able to bump your opponent. Otherwise, it's going to be a very one-sided game. 1 miss from Lucky shows exactly why being able to recover is such a huge part of 1v1, and Jorius maintains his composure and scores his 5th.
Simple enough for Jorius, just changing the pace, using the walls, having the landing and bouncing it in, and suddenly 3 goals the difference in a 3v3 or even a 2v2. It's the huge lead in 1v1s. If all other things being equal, 3 goals isn't the end of the world for Super Locky, but when you are Super Locky up against Joreuz, maybe it will be. Let's see. Can he step up again?
Nice demo on the back. Sees Joreuz now with just 100 boost in the midfield. Goes up high, wants to burn the limited amount that he knows Locky has on the spawn. He's only got 33, bear in mind, and Joreuz is acutely aware of that. With 100, he tries to take it back into his own half, because now is the time, maybe a little bit later on, maybe another 20, 30 seconds, where you're going to really be looking at time wasting.
Yeah.
Where you'll think, all right, well, if you've not got the ball near my goal and I've got possession, you literally cannot score. And there we go. Joreuz takes it back, does not need to take any risks.
I mean, a lot of the players went to a football match here in Saudi Arabia, so they will know all about time wasting. Anyone who's there will know what I'm talking about. Is Super Locky from the wall. Can he get the flip reset? Yes, he can. When's he going to use it? Will Joreuz fall for it? He doesn't use it at all. He tries for the low block.
50.
It's rolling in slowly, but Joreuz will be able to get back and recover. Just the bear prowling his cave, making sure nobody else can enter.
It's another low 50 attempt from Locky as well, and looked like another great scoring attempt too. Half his goals have come from those. In fact, so looking up for one with the bump, and Joreuz saves onto his flip at the absolute death of his leave from the ground. Is able to keep it away. Joreuz up for one, a second. Above the crossbar now, final 30, and Joreuz still with control, but Locky is in the perfect position and just shoots wide, and you see Locky's reaction.
Yeah.
No!
That was the moment of potential opportunity. Even if he scores from here, he's lost 5 or 6, now about 10 or 11 precious seconds. Goes for another low 50, but Joreuz, being the supreme 1v1 of the ears, ain't gonna fall for that one. As time ticks away, it seems locked in. The fist bump's now finally being accepted by the team. Joreuz has done enough to ensure that Oxygen will take the series by 3 games to 1.
Our first series going the way of the Europeans over the Oceanic Titans. And over in Group B, we've also had a result come in. Twisted Minds beat Elevate 3-0. That is over on the B stream. Bear in mind, you can go and watch the B stream as well. They're having, I'm sure, an absolutely cracking time over there.
Cool. A 5-4 overtime in the 1v1. Actually, no, the 3v3 at the end there. Over there on the B stream. So a good, entertaining match to open things up over there. And it was an entertaining match here as well, with ground